DJ Immortal, live in the mix.
Get it.
All right, Outlaw Radio Live fans, we are live with none other than the son of the doctor, Curtis Young. How are you doing this evening?
I'm great, man. Feeling blessed. How about yourself?
I am doing great, man. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I know we're running behind, and I know you're a very, very busy guy, so I want to jump right into this. I have to ask you, what made you decide to get into the music industry?
You know, coming up, man, just in my childhood, you know, it was always like almost filling a void. I was musically inclined. I played the trumpet in middle school age, or in middle school, and I started writing just coming up and just building, and then it started. What happened was, I just felt that void in my life. I was youngster coming up playing football, and then it's just that void in my life, and then I would end up later on just seeing I have musical talent, and just started integrating it in my life, so.
And I have to say, I've been a fan of your work personally for a while, and I do have to say you most definitely have legendary blood in your veins, man. You are one hell of a great MC.
Oh, no, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Much love for that.
No, you're most certainly welcome, man. No thanks needed on that one. Also, like I mentioned to you earlier when we were just talking one-on-one on the phone, you were also a DJ as well. I have to ask you, what made you decide to get into DJing?
That's funny, man. It's a funny story, actually. I never was a DJ, but I was asked, actually, from some gentlemen on BET from 106 in Park to be a host. And they were saying the only way we can get you in there, is being a DJ. And I was like, I don't DJ. He was like, man, just go on the show. You know what I mean? Just DJ. Just with full integrity. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I always wanted to pursue the journey on that. And I'm a risk taker, so I just I felt like it was the right time.
And most
so
definitely, man.
I went ahead with it, and it was funny back then. It was DJ Hood Surgeon. We all have a journey, and things that we got to come through and overcome. But I discovered my craft later, and developed the art.
And sometimes you just have to try new things, especially to make it, especially in the music industry. You've got to be willing to try new things.
Absolutely. I mean, the music industry is full of challenges and really just putting your art out there and seeing what new things that you can get into. You never know what's in the bloodline.
Most definitely.
As you building.
And speaking of bloodline, I want to ask you, when you first found out that Dr. Dre was your dad, what was the thoughts going through your head just knowing that you're the son of Dr. Dre?
It's funny you ask. I mean, it's a deep story, actually. When I found out who my pops was, I was the age of 11 years old, and I was going on 12 at the time, but I was 11 years old, and I was shocked because, it was an argument that I was courtelling, just trying to break up a domestic dispute with my father that raised me and my mom, and and he said, basically, I was breaking it up. I said, hey, Daddy, he's up. And he said, basically, nigga, I ain't your daddy. You want to know your daddy is? Your real daddy is Dr. Dre. So I was stunned at the moment. That moment right there was just like, what? So for a kid that's 11 years old, it was very shocking. Number one, I'm trying to break up an argument. Number two, finding out who my father is, a legend in the game, and it's like it was a lot of mixed emotions, so it took time to process.
Especially in that current moment too, like the heat of the argument and whatnot. The man that raised you could have just been excuse my language, fucking with you, right? You know what I mean? But that's such a
yeah.
But in a way, at least you found out. You know what I mean? And while we're on the topic, I want to ask this one. As you've seen it, and most of the world has, Straight Outta Compton. Remember that scene when in the movie that Dre's girlfriend left with the kid and whatnot. I have to ask, was that
Yeah.
technically you, if that makes sense, or was that your
No,
other brother?
That was it's funny. It's funny you asked that. That's pretty that's a great discovery on your behalf, actually. That was my sister, and because and things I can't mention too much because I don't want to spoil what I'm working on. Working on a motion picture, but I'll just say this. Coming up, my pops didn't really know I existed, so he was telling the story like he knew it from that point of view. So who was in the carriage? Who was in who was in the seat in the movie in the baby seat? That was my sister, my oldest sister. Not oldest, but she would be the oldest under me. So yeah. So it's just growing up. I had a different last name, and it's just like the birthright was different, So I just it took time for us to finally meet. We would finally meet. So yeah, no, that's a great question. No, that was a great question.
See, whenever I was watching that movie, I always thought that out because I knew, like, you know what I mean. Like Dre had a couple kids, so I was sitting back. I'm like, which one is that? So when I found out I had you coming on the show, I was like, you know what, I was gonna ask him. You know what I mean? Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, no, it's good.
So also you were, as you said earlier, you're formerly known as the Hood Surgeon. I have to ask you, what's the story behind that name, and why did you end up changing it just to Curtis Young?
It was a wrestle. I went through a dark moment in my life, and through that I was enlightened. But when I was in that dark moment, I just, the name Hood, and I always, it stuck with me from being in the hood, and and then being a surgeon, my pops was a doctor, and I wanted to be just like him, and I seen like, oh, surgeon, so that was something that stuck with me, moving 17 times before the age of 18, and not having that that role model, and being in different hoods, having that solid role model in my life, that name stuck with me, and I wanted to be just like my pops, and I went for that gangster persona, but in all actuality, that really wasn't me. I grew up around the neighborhood. I wasn't like somebody that was just being pushed up on and things like that. But it just wasn't me. It wasn't that persona. I was, so I just stuck to Curtis Young. So I even, it was like a battle within myself. And then when I discovered, I discovered my own purpose and understand my gifts. That's when it was like, okay, just Curtis Young, and this is who I was created to be, and this is my name. And it was just things I had to redefine.
And also, yeah, I read online as well that you were currently managed by Freeway Rick Ross. I have to ask, how did you and Freeway actually get connected?
Oh, no. That's definitely that's something, a rumor online. I never was managed by Freeway Rick Ross. It was a time. All respect to Freeway and everything that he's doing. He's a value relation, so it was a lot of things were mixed at the time. So, it's just we just were building together, and he just he's a value relation. We actually we would find our time. We would find ourselves like being in the same cities, and we'd be like, man, we actually crossing paths a lot.
Yeah, and I have to say, the internet's a damn thing, man. The internet sometimes has, great resources, but sometimes it's like that where they kind of make stuff up and whatnot.
Right, exactly. Things online all the time. You can always find yourself in different mixes. You got to make sure you pay attention to the right stories. That's at hand.
And you were also signed to So Hood Records. So I have to ask, how did that record deal come to be, and what was it like working for that label?
No, I never was signed to them. That was actually I was the owner of the label. So yeah, no, I'm not sure about where that information is from, but I was part of the label of that. And that was something that when I was, I learned from it. Was things I learned from it. I was like the whole hood surgeon, and I was like, so hood surgeon. Everything was hood, and I evolved from that, you know. And now it's Young Monarchy Entertainment, you know. So we building a monarchy of artistry,
And
you know. And I always wanted to build on my own.
and with that label that you have now, like, who's currently signed, and like, what services do you offer?
Oh, it's, you know. So right now it's definitely just a plethora of different services. You know, we offer different things from artists. You know, just development and just taking them to another. To take their from scratch. You know, if you're an artist and you're looking to build up your, you know, like your business. You know, we start from track feedback. So YME has services, and we definitely like mixing, mastering, from writing, developing, branding. You know, all of the above. I mean, for an artist, you know, to just take that you know, that leap of faith of what you want to do in the business, videography, photography. You know, even I even have people in the game experience with vocal lessons, in studio development. You know, just to really build with them.
And also, in and around 2007, you dropped 2 singles called Paradise and All I Need that grew very big in the U.S. I have to ask you, what's the inspiration behind those songs? And if they're still out there on the web, where can our listeners actually check them out?
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that?
Oh, sorry about that. I just said, like, in and around 2007, you dropped 2 singles called Paradise and All I Need. I was just wondering, what's the inspiration behind those 2 songs?
You know, that was back when I was in the hood surgeon days, and when I was building, you know, with that song, I felt like I wanted to be in paradise, you know, and I wanted to be away from myself at that time, and it just, that's what stuck at that time, and we're just building up everything that I was building, you know, at that time. That was like Soul Hood Records days, and it just was something that I seen just at a standpoint, and just like even like I was working on what is it? It was a track I did back then, you know, like my daddy was a doctor and all those different records, and you know, I was searching. It was a lot of soul searching, and until I found just, you know, who Curtis Young is, you know.
And you also formed like a little mini NWA called Sons of NWA with Little Eazy-E, Baby Eazy-E, and yourself. I have to ask, what made you guys decide to come together and actually form a little group?
Oh, we never formed a group. It was just a record, so it's a lot of things that's online that, you know, people wanted to see that, but, you know, I worked with Lil E on a couple records. You know, he's like a brother. You know, I mean, we even did some shows together. It's things that fans wanted to see, and something that we was working on and we was building. But at the same time, he has his lane and I have my own lane too. So we've just been building on different journeys.
And when you mentioned Little Eazy-E, like, I actually have to say, like, I met him personally myself in 2017 in Ottawa, Ontario, and he is such a phenomenal individual, man. Very, very nice guy, like, absolutely down to earth.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Most definitely, man. And also, in 2013, you announced a tour of 8 cities named Cali Spring. What was it like doing that tour? And, like, if you could, like, what cities did you hit?
Cali Springs?
Cali
tour?
Springs tour, yeah.
I mean, you know, I think I would say like this, like one of the best tours that I went on was when I went to Australia with DJ Yella. It was the Alcoholics, and then Spice went, and E3 went too. So that was one of the, that was a tour. We went all over Brisbane and all over Australia. We went to Brisbane, Canberra, and Perth, Sydney. It was everywhere. So the energy of doing these tours, and it would build up. I mean, I've been working a while on just like building up the just different the entertainment, just like really just building it up, just taking it to another level. So just to a global level.
And one of your most recent records got released in 2010. You dropped an album called Product of My DNA. I have to ask you, what's the inspiration behind that record, and where can our listeners buy or stream themselves a copy?
Yeah, so I would say, right now, we're going to be just dropping a plethora of projects, and everything's going to be under Young Monarchy Entertainment, which is going to be the website, youngmonarchyentertainment.com. That will be launched very soon, and we're just going to offer it all on the site. And then also, of course, iTunes, and there'll be streams that we'll have it available on the Spotify and also everywhere you can stream, basically. But mainly, we want to keep everything focused on Monarchy Entertainment, Young Monarchy Entertainment, and just keep it on that spot.
And also on October 11th of 2019, you actually was featured in a video with Canadian Indian artist called 11. I'm going to have to ask, how did you and him get connected?
Oh, yeah, that's funny. That's funny you say that. Yeah, he's an Indian artist. Yeah, I met him. I actually met him some years ago, and we met in Las Vegas, actually, and we ended up working on some music together, and then we shot the video out in Canada, and we put that together in a few weeks, and also got another international record that we're putting together that's going to be coming out very soon. So yeah, that's one of the things that we were just kind of building on and standing with it just in a global space, working with different nationalities. That's one of the things that I like to see. And I really love to work with culture. Different cultures. So integrating that together with the music.
And I have to say as well, it's actually a really, really cool video. I really do like the lights and whatnot. It's a really, really catchy song and video. And also, you announced the coming of a reality show.
That.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, I said thank you about that. Thank you.
Oh, you're most certainly welcome. You also announced the coming of a reality show called Seeds of Hip Hop alongside the sons of Eazy-E, MC Ran, E40, and Jam Master Jay. What can we expect from that show?
Well, that show was actually canceled. That was something that we did have in the works, and a lot of people wanted to see it, and now they have grown up in hip hop, so that's something else. It was an experience.
I have to ask, was anything ever filmed? Do you think maybe in due time there might be an episode randomly released or anything like that?
No, it wasn't no episode that they're gonna just put out.
Hey, it's worth a try, right?
But we definitely had it was a great experience overall. We captured a lot of content, and but this is something that we're gonna capture. Basically content on our own and bring that experience to life.
And also, currently, I read that you are currently filming a biopic called Dog Pound for Life that is currently in development, and where you will be portraying your father, Dr. Dre. I have to ask you, what can we expect from that film itself?
Well, we can't expect it. That was something that's not valid either. That was a time they were shooting, and it was being something that was proposed. So Yeah, when we're working in this business, it's a lot of things that will be valid and it's things that's not valid. So it's a lot of just blessings are just things that just experiences that you go through, in life.
Most definitely. And I have to ask, what's next for Curtis Young? Like, do you have any other shows, any other records, anything else you want to promote at this current time?
Absolutely. So I just want to let everybody know what the platform is. It's a monarchy of artistry. So Young Monarchy Entertainment is a platform for originators, seeking development, and that's basically creative and passionate, artistic, persevered, and just basically music business experiences, and that's really looking to enhance their artistry.
And so, Curtis, this is the time in the interview that I just give the chance for the individual that comes on my show, just a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, and also your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you if they're not already doing so.
No, I appreciate that. So, yeah, definitely, I just want to say a shout-out to my value relation, Monarch Young, in the building. And I want to just give a shout-out to just all those listeners out there. I just want to thank all of you, and then of course, like, I'm just blessed, to all blessings to the divine artist for making this a possibility for me. Stay tuned for Generation Hip Hop Global. We're building with them. It's a full-on launch that's going to be launched out, and the release is coming out. It's about 68 countries, and counting. It's connected with the Nelson Mandela legacy, and which is one of the chairmen, Indaba Mandela, one of our partners, just came on as executive ambassadors for that, and also executive producer of an album called Humanity coming out, and also going to be dropping an app. Can't give up the name yet, but it's going to be very innovative, and that's coming soon. And it's going to be a global launch where we could take this to the next level. And we just need everyone's support out there once we do launch that app. Which is going to be great just to download that. We'll put that blast out there once the time is ready. And then my music. I just want to talk for a second about my music. My music is going to be launching. Yeah, so we're working on some motion picture project in the works, soundtrack with timeless pieces, and just to iterate more, to reiterate more on that. I really took time to really think on what I was going to drop. So I just didn't want to drop something. I wanted to put a story behind everything that I'm working on. So the projects would in line with the storyline. So fans and everyone out there that has been riding with me from day one, they'll appreciate that, because it has been a while, and it's something that I take heart to, and I really want to make sure everyone can feel it in their souls, this, and it's an experience. This is a life story experience from soil to soul. So that's it.
I gotta say, Curtis, thank you so much for coming up on Outlaw Radio Live. Do you want to drop your social media handles, so that way our listeners can follow you before we
Yeah. Social media, Curtis Young Official, on Instagram and on Facebook, and then be on the lookout for YoungMonarchyENT.com. That's YoungMonarchyENT.com, and then Young Monarchy Instagram as well. So, right, Young Monarchy ENT Instagram. So go follow that, and then the website will be launching very shortly for those services, for those artists out there that's looking for development and and just any production or anything that they're seeking, and then be on the lookout for the project that's coming out real soon. My project, product of my DNA, and then the life story motion picture. Young YME experience. Let's get it.
Most definitely. I want to say, Curtis, thank you so much for coming up on Outlaw Radio Live. It was an absolute honor and most definitely a pleasure. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to that global app drop and most definitely that website. Thank you so much for coming up on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
You have yourself a wonderful night.
You too.